The email arrived at 4:47 p.m. on a Thursday. Marcus, come to my office. Now. I stared at the screen, my coffee going cold in my hand. Richard Chin never used that tone unless something was wrong. I'd been his chief technology officer for 8 years. We built Apex Solutions from 12 employees in a rented office to 200 people across 3 floors. I created every system, every algorithm, every piece of code that made this company worth $50 million. I walked down the hallway, my heart pounding. Through the glass walls I could see Richard pacing, his face red. His brother Derek sat in the corner, smirking. That's when I knew. I'd seen this coming for weeks. Derek had been hanging around, asking questions about my work, taking notes during meetings. Richard opened the door before I could knock. Marcus, we're making some changes. Effective immediately, you're being let go. The words hit me like ice water. What? Richard, I built everything here. Every single system runs on code I wrote. Derek will be taking over as CTO. He has fresh ideas. Fresh ideas? Derek barely knew how to use the database. But I saw it in Richard's eyes. Family came first. Logic didn't matter. Security escorted me out 20 minutes later. I carried a cardboard box with my coffee mug, a photo of my mom, and a small plant my coworkers gave me for my birthday. 8 years reduced to objects that fit in a box. People stared as I walked past their desks. Some looked away. Others whispered. Sarah from accounting mouthed, I'm sorry. I nodded but kept walking. The worst part wasn't the embarrassment. It was knowing what would happen next. Without me, Apex's systems would start falling apart. The encryption I built, the customer database, the automated processes that saved the company millions. All of it depended on knowledge only I had. Richard thought he could just replace me. He had no idea. I sat in my car in the parking lot, hands shaking. My phone buzzed with texts from coworkers. What happened? Are you okay? This is insane. I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I opened my laptop and logged into my personal cloud storage. Every backup, every piece of documentation, every trade secret I'd ever created sat there. Encrypted. Protected. What? Richard made a huge mistake today. He just didn't know it yet. 3 days later, I was eating ramen in my apartment when my email pinged. The subject line read, Keep going. No sender name, just a string of random letters. I almost deleted it as spam. But something made me open it. Marcus, I know what happened at Apex. You were treated unfairly. Enclosed is $10,000 to help you through this transition. Use it wisely. Your time will come. A friend. I stared at the screen. Who would send me money? I checked my bank account on my phone. Sure enough, $10,000 had been deposited an hour ago. My hands trembled as I read the email again. No clues. No hints. Just kindness from a stranger who somehow knew my story. I thought about Richard and Derek, probably celebrating my departure right now. They believed they'd won. But this money, this unexpected gift, it felt like a sign. I wasn't finished. Not by a long shot. I closed my laptop and looked around my small apartment. I'd helped build a $50 million company. Maybe it was time to build my own. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the mysterious email. Who sent it? How did they know about me? The next 2 months were brutal. I sent out 47 resumes. Got 3 interviews. 0 job offers. Overqualified, they said. Or worse, we heard you left Apex under difficult circumstances. Richard had poisoned the well. Every tech company in the city knew someone at Apex. Word spread fast. I started taking small jobs fixing computers, building websites for local businesses. $50 here, $100 there. Barely enough to cover rent. But I refused to give up. At night, I worked on my own project. A new kind of customer management software, simpler and faster than anything on the market. I called it Streamline. The $10,000 from my mysterious benefactor kept me alive. I spent it carefully, buying only what I needed for development. Rice, beans, cheap coffee. My mom called every week. Marcus, maybe you should come home. I can help you. But I couldn't quit. Not now. Then one Tuesday morning my phone rang. Unknown number. Marcus Chin? This is Jennifer Park from Horizon Ventures. We're interested in investing in tech startups. Do you have a moment to talk? My heart stopped. I hadn't told anyone about Streamline. How did she know? Jennifer Park met me at a coffee shop downtown. She was younger than I expected, maybe 35, wearing a sharp business suit. She ordered a black coffee and got straight to business. Tell me about Streamline. I pulled out my laptop and showed her the demo. Her eyes widened as I walked through the features. Customer tracking, automated responses, integration with every major platform. All of it simpler than Apex's clunky system. This is impressive, Marcus. How far along are you? About 60% complete. I need funding for servers, marketing, maybe 1 or 2 developers to help me finish. Jennifer nodded, typing notes on her tablet. Horizon Ventures specializes in second-chance entrepreneurs. People who got knocked down but kept fighting. She looked up at me. I'm prepared to offer you $150,000 for 15% equity. I couldn't breathe. $150,000? That was enough to finish Streamline, launch it properly, maybe even hire a small team. Why me? I asked. Jennifer smiled. Let's just say someone vouched for you. Someone who believes you're going to do great things. The mysterious benefactor. It had to be. Who else would know about my project? I signed the papers that afternoon. With Jennifer's investment, everything changed. I rented a small office space, hired 2 developers I knew from my Apex days, and worked 16-hour days. We finished Streamline in 6 weeks. But the mysterious messages kept coming. Focus on small businesses first. They need you most. Don't try to compete with Apex directly. Build something better. Patience, Marcus. Everything is falling into place. Each message arrived from a different anonymous email. No pattern. No clues. Just advice that always turned out to be right. I started following the guidance. Instead of chasing big corporate clients, I targeted small businesses that couldn't afford expensive software. Restaurants, gyms, local shops. They loved Streamline. It was affordable, easy to use, and actually worked. Within 3 months, we had 200 paying customers. The money wasn't huge, but it was steady. My team grew to 5 people. We moved to a bigger office. My mom stopped asking when I'd get a real job. But I couldn't stop wondering. Who was helping me? And why? One message mentioned connections to Apex. Did my benefactor work there? Did they know Richard? The mystery ate at me, but I kept pushing forward. Success was the best revenge. Month 6 brought unexpected problems. TechFlow, a massive company with millions in funding, launched a product almost identical to Streamline. Better marketing, bigger team, aggressive pricing. Within 2 weeks, I lost 30 customers. My developers looked worried during our Monday meeting. Marcus, how do we compete with them? They're everywhere. I didn't have an answer. That night, I sat alone in the office, staring at spreadsheets that showed our declining numbers. Maybe I wasn't cut out for this. Maybe Richard was right to fire me. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello? Marcus Chin? The voice was unfamiliar, calm and professional. My name is David Torres. I run Torres Technologies. I've been watching your company. I want to make you an offer. What kind of offer? Partnership. I provide the resources and connections. You provide the technology. Together we take on TechFlow and win. I should have been suspicious. But David's reputation was solid. Torres Technologies was a mid-sized firm with a great track record. Why me? I asked. David laughed. Because you built something real, Marcus. And someone I trust told me you're worth betting on. The mysterious benefactor again. Who was this person? David Torres flew in the next week. We signed a partnership agreement over coffee. He brought connections, marketing expertise, and most importantly, credibility. With Torres Technologies backing us, customers stopped leaving. New ones signed up. TechFlow was still bigger, but we were holding our own. Then I heard the news through an old coworker. Derek Chin was struggling at Apex. The systems I built were breaking down. Customer complaints were flooding in. Richard had hired 3 developers to replace me, but none of them understood my code. It's a disaster, Sarah from accounting told me over lunch. Derek has no idea what he's doing. He keeps making things worse. Richard's starting to panic. I felt a strange mix of satisfaction and sadness. I never wanted Apex to fail. I just wanted Richard to see the truth. That family loyalty without competence was a recipe for disaster. That same week, another anonymous email arrived. Derek will reach out soon. Be kind. Be smart. This is your moment. I read it 3 times. Derek? Reaching out to me? That seemed impossible. But 2 days later my phone rang. Marcus? It's Derek. I need your help. Derek's voice was shaky on the phone. Marcus, I know things ended badly. But I'm in over my head here. The customer database crashed yesterday. We lost thousands of records. I don't know how to fix it. Part of me wanted to laugh. This was the person Richard thought could replace me? But I remembered my mysterious benefactor's message. Be kind. Derek, I can't just give you the solutions. But I can offer some advice. What error messages are you seeing? I spent 20 minutes walking him through basic troubleshooting. Not enough to fix everything, just enough to stop the bleeding. When we hung up, Derek sounded relieved. Thanks, Marcus. I owe you one. I sat back in my chair thinking. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about showing Richard who I really was. Someone who helped people, even people who'd wronged me. My company was growing. Streamline now has 500 customers. We were profitable. Small but sustainable. Meanwhile, Apex was bleeding money trying to fix problems I could solve in my sleep. The balance of power was shifting. I just had to wait for the right moment. That night, another anonymous message arrived. Watch for the merger news. Your opportunity is coming. The merger announcement hit the tech news 3 weeks later. Apex Solutions was being acquired by Global Tech for $45 million. Less than Richard hoped, but enough to save the company from its current problems. The anonymous email arrived an hour after I read the news. Richard will need advisors for the transition. Position yourself as the solution, not the problem. Show him who you are. I didn't understand at first. Why would Richard want my help now? But the benefactor had been right about everything else. That week I attended a tech industry mixer. I knew Richard would be there, celebrating the merger. I wore my best suit and practiced staying calm. When I saw Richard across the room, he looked older. Tired. The stress of the past months had aged him. I walked over. Congratulations on the merger, Richard. He turned surprised. Marcus, I didn't expect to see you here. I'm doing well. My company's growing. I heard Apex had some rough patches. Richard's face tightened. Nothing we couldn't handle. But we both knew that was a lie. Listen, Richard. If you ever need advice during the transition, I'm around. No hard feelings. He looked at me strangely, like he couldn't figure out my angle. I'll keep that in mind. 2 weeks after the mixer, I received a formal invitation to speak at the Tech Innovation Summit. The letter was printed on expensive paper, hand-delivered to my office. We're honored to invite Marcus Chin, founder of Streamline Solutions, to present at our annual summit. Your innovative approach to customer management has caught the attention of industry leaders. I showed the invitation to David Torres. He whistled. Marcus, this is huge. The summit only invites people they think will be major players. Someone important wants you there. I thought about the mysterious benefactor. Had they arranged this? The summit was in 3 weeks. I prepared my presentation carefully, showing how Streamline helped small businesses compete with larger companies. How good technology should be accessible to everyone, not just corporations with massive budgets. The night before my presentation, I couldn't sleep. This was my chance to show the entire tech industry what I'd built. To prove that getting fired was the best thing that ever happened to me. But something felt off. The invitation had mentioned special networking opportunities with industry leaders. What did that mean? And why did I feel like I was walking into something bigger than a simple presentation? The Tech Innovation Summit was held at the Grand Harbor Hotel. Over 500 people attended. Industry leaders, investors, journalists. I gave my presentation in the morning. The audience loved it. People asked questions, wanted demos, exchanged business cards. During the lunch break, I checked my email. A message from Derek. Marcus, we need to talk. Richard's making a mistake with the Global Tech merger. I'm trying to warn him, but he won't listen to me. Can we meet? I stared at the screen. Derek warning Richard? About his own brother's deal? Before I could respond, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Derek's right. The merger has problems. Don't get involved yet. Wait for my signal. The mysterious benefactor. Always one step ahead. That afternoon, news broke that Global Tech was being investigated for financial fraud. The merger was immediately frozen. Richard's $45 million deal vanished overnight. By evening, Apex's stock had dropped 30%. The company was in freefall. I sat in my hotel room watching the news coverage. Richard's face appeared on screen, looking devastated. We're exploring all options, he told reporters. Apex Solutions will survive this. But I knew the truth. Without the merger money, Apex was finished. They couldn't fix their technical problems, couldn't compete in the market. Richard had maybe 6 months before bankruptcy. The mysterious benefactor sent one more message that night. Now you understand. Everything was leading to this moment. I spent the next week questioning everything. My mysterious benefactor had guided me perfectly. Every piece of advice led to this moment where Apex was vulnerable and I was strong. But was this about revenge? Is that who I wanted to be? I thought about my mom, who raised me alone after my dad left. She always said, Marcus, be the kind of person who lifts others up, not tears them down. I'd built Streamline on that principle. Helping small businesses, treating my employees well, being fair with customers. But now I had the power to destroy Richard completely. Or to help him. Which path led to real success? My lead developer knocked on my office door. Marcus, we just got another 50 customer signups today. Word spreading about us. People love what we're building. I smiled. That was real. Solid. Not based on someone else's failure, but on my own hard work. That night, I replied to Derek's email. I'm not interested in revenge, Derek. But if Richard wants genuine help, I'm willing to talk. No games. Just honest conversation about how to fix what's broken. I hit send and felt lighter. Whatever happened next, I'd stay true to myself. The mysterious benefactor's response came within an hour. Good choice, Marcus. True power isn't about crushing others. It's about showing them a better way. Tomorrow you'll receive an investment offer. Take it. This is the beginning of something bigger than you imagine. The next morning, Jennifer Park called. Marcus, Horizon Ventures wants to invest another $500,000 in Streamline. You've proven yourself. It's time to scale up. I nearly dropped my phone. $500,000? That was enough to expand nationwide, hire a full sales team, compete with the major players. Jennifer, this is incredible. But why now? Because you're ready. And because someone I trust believes you're going to change this industry. The benefactor again. Everything circled back to this mysterious person who'd been guiding my journey. I accepted the investment. Within days we hired 10 new people. Opened offices in 2 more cities. Streamline was becoming a real company. Then Derek called again. Marcus, Richard finally agreed to meet with you. Can you come to Apex next week? My heart raced. This was it. The moment I'd been building toward. Tell him I'll be there. Walking into Apex Solutions felt surreal. 8 months ago, security escorted me out with a cardboard box. Now I was here as the CEO of a competing company, meeting with Richard as an equal. Maybe more than an equal. Richard's office looked the same, but he looked different. Thinner. Gray streaks in his hair. The weight of failure showed on his face. Marcus, thank you for coming. He gestured to a chair. I've been following your success. Streamline is impressive. Thank you. I sat down, keeping my voice neutral. Derek said you wanted to talk. Richard sighed. I made a mistake firing you. I let family loyalty cloud my judgment. Derek's a good person, but he's not a CTO. You were. You are. The words I'd wanted to hear for 8 months. But now they felt hollow. What do you want from me, Richard? Advice. Guidance. Help fixing the systems before Apex completely collapses. He pulled out a folder. I can pay consulting fees. Whatever your rate is. I looked at the folder, then at Richard. This man had thrown away 8 years of loyalty. Had believed his unqualified brother could replace me. Had damaged my reputation across the industry. But holding on to anger wouldn't build my future. I'll help, I said quietly. But not for money. For the employees who are still here. People like Sarah who don't deserve to lose their jobs because of bad management. That night, the mysterious benefactor's identity was finally revealed. An email arrived with an attachment, a video file. I clicked it. A woman's face appeared on screen. She was maybe 60 with kind eyes and gray hair. Hello, Marcus. My name is Patricia Chin. I was Richard's mentor when he started Apex. My breath caught. Patricia Chin? I'd heard Richard mention her years ago. She'd invested in Apex early on, helped build the company's foundation. I watched Richard make a terrible mistake when he fired you, Patricia continued. I knew he'd regret it, but I also knew you were special. So I decided to guide you from the shadows. Every anonymous message, every connection, every opportunity was me opening doors for you. Tears filled my eyes. I'm dying, Marcus. Cancer. I have maybe 6 months left. I wanted to use my final time helping someone who deserved it. You were always kind to people at Apex. Always generous with your knowledge. You never played corporate games. She smiled. Richard forgot something important. Real talent can't be replaced by family ties. I wanted you to prove that. Not through revenge, but through building something better. The video ended. I sat in the darkness, crying. Patricia had been my guardian angel and I never knew. I called the number Patricia left in her email. She answered on the second ring. Marcus, you saw the video. Why didn't you tell me sooner? My voice cracked. Because you needed to find your own strength. If you'd known someone powerful was helping you, you might have doubted yourself. But everything you built, that was you. I just opened doors. You walked through them. We talked for an hour. Patricia told me about her friendship with Richard, how she'd warned him not to fire me, how disappointed she'd been when he did it anyway. Richard's not a bad person, she said. He's just weak sometimes. Family pressure, Derek's insecurity, it all clouded his judgment. Why are you telling me all this now? I asked. Patricia was quiet for a moment. Because tomorrow Richard is going to make you an offer. And I want you to understand something. He doesn't just need your technical help. He needs someone to show him how to lead with integrity. Can you do that? I thought about the journey I'd been on. The pain, the struggle, the growth. Yes, I said. I can. Good. One more thing, Marcus. When this is all over, I'm leaving you something in my will. But that's for later. Right now, go change that man's life. Richard called me the next morning. Marcus, I need to be honest with you. Apex is in serious trouble. Without the global tech merger, we're looking at bankruptcy within 4 months. Our systems are failing, customers are leaving, and the board is losing confidence. He paused. I need more than consulting advice. I need a partner. Someone who can actually save this company. What are you proposing? I asked carefully. Come back to Apex. Not as CTO. As co-CEO. Equal authority. We split decisions 50-50. You fix the technical side, I handle business operations. Together we rebuild what I broke. I was stunned. Co-CEO? That meant I'd have authority over Richard, over Derek, over everyone who'd watched me get fired. I need to think about it, I said. Of course. Take whatever time you need. After we hung up, I called Patricia. He offered to make me co-CEO. Patricia laughed weakly. I knew he would. Richard's many things, but he's not stupid. He knows you're his only hope. What are you going to do? I don't know. Part of me wants to say no, keep building Streamline, watch Apex collapse. But that's not who I am. No, Patricia agreed. It's not. So what does Marcus Chin do? I made a decision that surprised everyone. I didn't go back to Apex. Instead, I made Richard a different offer. Richard, I'll help you rebuild Apex. But I'm not joining your company. I'm hiring Derek to work for Streamline. Richard was confused. You're hiring Derek? After everything? Derek knows he's not qualified to run technology at Apex. He told me himself. But he's good with people, good at understanding customer needs. I need someone like that at Streamline. And you need to hire someone qualified to replace him at Apex. I paused. I'll consult for Apex, help train your new CTO, fix the immediate problems. But I'm not abandoning what I built. Streamline is my company. That doesn't change. Richard was silent for a long moment. You're a better man than I am, Marcus. Derek joined Streamline 2 weeks later as head of customer relations. He was nervous his first day, sitting in my office with a cup of coffee. Marcus, I don't understand. Why would you hire me after I took your job? I smiled. Because everyone deserves a chance to do what they're actually good at. You were put in a position you weren't ready for. That wasn't your fault. But customer relations? You could be great at that. Tears filled Derek's eyes. I'll prove you right. Over the next 3 months, everything changed. Derek thrived at Streamline. Customers loved him. He understood their problems in a way I never could, translated technical solutions into language that made sense. Our retention rate jumped to 95%. Meanwhile, I spent 2 days a week at Apex training their new CTO, fixing broken systems, restoring customer confidence. Richard watched everything with a mixture of gratitude and shame. The trade secrets I'd held, all that knowledge Richard thought he could replace, I used them to help both companies. Not to destroy but to build. Streamline grew to 2,000 customers. Apex stabilized, then started growing again. Patricia called me every week, getting weaker but happier. You're doing it, Marcus. Showing everyone what real leadership looks like. By month 9, Streamline was valued at $8 million. Small compared to Apex but growing fast. Richard approached me with another offer. Marcus, Apex's board wants to acquire Streamline. $12 million. You'd become our CTO again, but with full authority and board representation. No one could fire you this time. I looked at Richard's hopeful face. He wanted to fix his mistake, bring me back into the fold. But I'd built something of my own. Something that reflected my values. No, I said gently. Streamline stays independent. But we can be partners. We can work together without you owning me. Richard struggled with my rejection. I could see it in his face during our meetings. He wanted the clean resolution, the happy ending where everything went back to how it was. But we couldn't go back. We could only go forward. Marcus, I need you to understand something, Richard said one afternoon. When I fired you, I thought I was doing the right thing. Derek needed a break and I thought your job would give him confidence. I was wrong. But I wasn't trying to hurt you. I nodded. I know, Richard. You were trying to help your brother. I understand family loyalty. But you forgot something important. Loyalty without competence destroys everyone. He looked down. I've learned that lesson the hard way. Good. Because now I'm going to teach you something else. I pulled out a document. This is a partnership proposal. Streamline and Apex work together on joint projects. We share resources, refer customers to each other, collaborate on big contracts. But we stay separate companies. Richard read through it carefully. This would benefit both of us. Why are you offering this? Because competition isn't the only way to succeed. Sometimes helping each other build something bigger than either of us could create alone. He signed the partnership agreement that day. 11 months after firing me, Richard became my business partner. The partnership transformed both companies. Streamline handled small to mid-sized clients. Apex focused on enterprise customers. When a client outgrew our services, we referred them to Apex. When Apex found a client too small for their model, they sent them to us. Everyone won. Derek flourished. He became one of Streamline's most valuable employees, bringing an understanding of customer psychology that I lacked. Richard and I met weekly to coordinate strategies. The awkwardness faded. We became genuine partners. Patricia's health deteriorated rapidly. I visited her in the hospital every Sunday. She was proud of what we'd built. You turned betrayal into something beautiful, Marcus. That's rare. I had a good teacher, I said, holding her hand. She smiled. Promise me something. Promise you'll keep being kind. Even when it's hard. Even when revenge seems easier. I promise. Patricia died 3 weeks later. She left me $200,000 in her will with a note. Use this to help other people who get knocked down. They deserve a guardian angel too. I cried at her funeral. Richard stood beside me, also crying. We'd both lost someone important. But her legacy lived on in what we were building. 11 months and 2 weeks after Richard fired me, I made the final move. Streamline had grown to $15 million in value. We needed a senior advisor, someone with corporate experience to guide our next phase. I called Richard into my office. Richard, I want to offer you a position at Streamline. His eyes widened. What kind of position? Senior Strategic Advisor. You'd work 3 days a week, helping us navigate corporate partnerships, teaching my team what you know about scaling businesses. You'd report to me. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. The man who fired me would now work for me. But this wasn't about revenge. It was about recognizing that Richard had skills I needed, and that working together made us both stronger. Marcus, I don't know what to say. Richard's voice cracked. I fired you. Humiliated you. And you're offering me a job? I'm offering you a chance to be part of something good. To use your experience to help people. Isn't that what we all want? To matter? Richard accepted the offer. He started the following Monday, sitting in a small office at Streamline, attending meetings where Derek and I made the final decisions. Some people thought I was crazy. You're hiring the guy who betrayed you? But they didn't understand. This wasn't about the past. It was about building a future where everyone could contribute their best. 6 months later, Streamline was valued at $25 million. Richard's guidance had been invaluable. He taught us how to negotiate with enterprise clients, how to structure complex deals, how to avoid the mistakes he'd made at Apex. Derek had been promoted to VP of Customer Success. He was brilliant at his job. One evening, the three of us sat in my office after everyone else had gone home. Richard looked at me seriously. Marcus, I've never properly apologized. Not really. I was scared of Derek failing, scared of looking like I played favorites if I didn't give him a chance. But firing you was the worst decision I ever made. I know, I said. But you know what? Getting fired was the best thing that happened to me. It forced me to build something of my own. To discover who I really was. Derek nodded. And hiring me even after I took your job, that changed my life. I finally found work I'm actually good at. We sat in comfortable silence. 3 people whose lives had been torn apart by one decision, now rebuilt into something stronger. I thought about Patricia, about her belief that kindness always wins. She was right. Revenge would have felt good for a moment. But this, building something together, helping each other grow, this felt meaningful. We should celebrate, I said. Dinner's on me. Today, Streamline Solutions employs 150 people. We help over 5,000 small businesses compete in the digital world. Apex Solutions recovered and is thriving again. Richard splits his time between both companies, finally understanding that real leadership means empowering others, not controlling them. Derek is engaged to Sarah from accounting. They're planning a wedding next spring. I'm the best man. My mom came to visit last month. She walked through our offices, meeting my employees, seeing what I'd built. I'm proud of you, Marcus. Not because you're successful, but because you stayed kind. That's the lesson I want to share. When someone betrays you, you have a choice. You can seek revenge, tear them down, prove they were wrong to underestimate you. Or you can build something so good, so meaningful, that their betrayal becomes irrelevant. I chose to build. I chose to help, even people who hurt me. And that choice created something bigger than revenge ever could. Richard didn't just learn a lesson. He became a better leader. Derek didn't just get fired. He found his true calling. And I didn't just survive getting fired. I discovered my purpose. Remember this, kindness is never wasted. It always finds its way back. Sometimes in money, sometimes in success, but always in the peace that comes from knowing you did the right thing. Subscribe if this story inspired you. Share it if you know someone who needs to hear it. And remember, your setback might just be the setup for your greatest comeback. Keep going. Your time will come.